Hey, this is Jordan. This video is being recorded on the late morning of Friday, July 21st, 2023. Thank you so much for tuning in today. In this video, this is a bit of a different style video. I'm going to talk about signal and noise in the gold market. I think we all know there's quite a bit of noise in the gold market. I mean, there's a misunderstanding of gold's fundamentals and all those sort of things that go with it. And the reason I want to talk about this is because we have a lot more noise that's suddenly come into the gold market. I mean, not now, but I think at the end of June. But first, I want to get into, because the noise that's come into the market in recent weeks, it reminded me of 2018, and I wrote an article in 2018. Here you can see a screenshot, signal versus noise in the gold market. And I remember getting an idea to write this article because I was reading Bob Moriarty, 321 Gold, love Bob. I was reading his book, Nobody Knows Anything, which was a great little book, a lot of great tips in there. And if you know Bob, he was a highly decorated fighter pilot for the military. He's flown, hundreds of missions. And so he talked about in the military, they had this signal versus noise. And so if we can apply that to the investment markets, if you think about there's signals, which can be like real price action, fundamentals, objective data, sentiment data, anything that it's objective, it comes from real data. The information can be verified. It's factual. Whereas noise is just everything that's completely the opposite. And so I was writing about in 2018, and I'm sure Jim Rickards is a lovely man. I don't want to pick on him, but I mean, just respectfully, he just promotes a lot of, for lack of a better description, just conspiracy theories and just things that are just total noise with respect to the gold market. Now, I understand it because those things, you could build a gigantic audience, pushing those things, but they're just not factual, and his predictions never come to pass. And so this, and so I wrote. So this was in 2018. I wrote signal versus noise in the gold market, and so. What Jim Rickards was talking about then, I mean, his prediction was, the SDR, the strategic drawing rights, which is a reserve asset from the IMF. I mean, technically it's not a currency, it's a reserve asset. But what he was saying in the summer of 2018 is that China was, they were going to create a new gold standard. They were pegging the SDR to a certain level. And so, I mean, that was basically the prediction. And I remember writing here, I'm just reading what I was writing. Price action, fundamentals, and sentiment data are what we call signals. They come from real data that can be verified. Interpretations of those can differ, but the data is factual. The view or belief that China is pegging the SDR or creating a new gold standard at 900 SDR an ounce, or will revalue the gold price higher in due time is noise. It's not based on anything that can be verified. It's merely an opinion of someone purported to be an insider. I bring this up because we're getting to the new BRICS thing, and again, not to pick on Jim Rickards, but this is a habit of his. This is 2017. So the SDR thing was 2018. The year before, 2017, he was saying there was going to be a war with North Korea, and therefore gold's going to go to $10,000 an ounce. So, and these things actually get published. I mean, they're not getting published in the Wall Street Journal or anything like that, but I mean, these things are actually getting published. And so, obviously there was no war with North Korea. Okay, there was no SDR in 2018. And so, getting into now, and what's really interesting is, remember after 2016, gold was consolidating. It couldn't break through in 2017 and 2018. 2019, 2020, gold from August 2018 to August 2020, I think it went up like 75 or 80%. So you're in a legit cyclical bull market. at that time. You didn't hear any conspiracy theories from Rickards. Like this noise, you only hear this noise when gold is not really in a bull market or it's struggling to break out. So suddenly, we're about 3 years into this bullish consolidation. It is a bullish consolidation for gold, very bullish consolidation, a handle on a cup and handle pattern. But, a month ago, here comes, Jim Rickards coming out on August 22nd. The most significant development in international finance will be unveiled. Since 1971, will be unveiled. It involves a rollout of a major new currency that could weaken the dollar, global payments, ultimately displace the U.S. dollar as the leading payment currency and reserve currency. It could happen just in a few years. First of all this, all the mechanics of all these things, I'm not an expert on that, so I'll defer to Rickards and other people. But, it seems like the reality is, yes, the dollar eventually will not be the reserve currency anymore. But if you look at history, and I did a video on this, reserve currencies can last a really, really long time. So we've only had the reserve currency. If you talk about the current system, 1970, so 50 years or so. I don't think in the next 10 or 20 years the dollar is going to lose its status as the reserve currency. Now, it's realistic and likely probably that the dollar will lose its strength and influence. It will lose some of that. As the reserve currency, it will weaken over time. But, this huge sudden, bombshell that they're going to bring about this entire new currency, this is just fantasy. This is a conspiracy theory again. And the monetary shock will be delivered by a group called the BRICS. And so they're going to have this new group of nations. This makes me laugh. There are currently 8 nations that have formally applied, and 17 others have expressed it. 8 formal applicants are Algeria, Argentina, Bahrain, Egypt, Indonesia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, the UAE. This doesn't mean anything. Like, none of these nations are. Bahrain, Argentina, Algeria. Who cares? These are not important countries. This is ridiculous. The 17 countries that have also expressed it: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Nicaragua, Mexico. There's no way Mexico. Mexico is, with all the reshoring now, they're completely tied to North America. There's no way they would be part. But, Tunisia, Turkey, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, these are not significant countries. These are not powerful countries. Like, this is just meaningless. And then the conclusion, this entire turn of events, introduction of a new gold-backed currency, rapid adoption as payment currency, will begin on August 22nd after years of development. Except for direct participants, the world has mostly ignored this prospect. The result will be an upheaval of the international monetary system in a matter of weeks. No, I'm sorry. It's not happening. And, I'll get to that, but okay, here's my favorite website, tongue-in-cheek, King World News, which... if you've never been on King World News, this is basically pornography for gold bugs. And I am a gold bug, okay? So I'm not deriding gold bugs, but King World News is a gold bug porn site. That's all it is. The stuff on here it's completely ridiculous. It's just so batshit crazy. Okay, Nomi Prince just announced what is about to be announced. Nomi Prince just warned what is about to be announced will shock the world. They have no idea. Picture of gold and Putin. Okay, Eric King. Nomi, there is going to be this gold-backed currency introduced in August by the BRICS. This is a very big deal. So... yeah, King World News and Rickards as well. It's just misinformation, just left and right. I'm sure they're all lovely people, all the people that are involved, but this stuff is just so much fucking noise. I'm sorry to use the F word, but I have to because it's so ridiculous. And then here's the reality: a tweet from Jan. Sorry, I can't pronounce your last name, Jan. But, okay, Russian central bank on creating a BRICS currency. Of course, this idea deserves attention, but this project will be quite difficult to implement. It requires the consent of many parties. This is not a simple project at all. Okay, July 20th, very recently, the second tweet. We are still working and concentrating our efforts on the development of bilateral settlements using the national currency, the development of the infrastructure that connects our payment systems, what businesses need today now. And then I also put this in here. I mean, we know Brent Johnson, who we've interviewed, dollar milkshake theory man. Yeah, I mean, this guy knows way more. Okay, I mean, Brent, than these other people just pushing nonsense, misinformation, and conspiracy theories. So look, guys, I mean, the summary is stay away from this noise. Like there's signal and there's noise. I mean, look at signals, charts, data, price action, trends, moving averages, sentiment data, ratios, Fed policy, interest rates, bond yields, all that stuff. Those are the signals that we need to watch. All this other stuff is conspiracy stuff. It's just noise. It's complete garbage. Just stay away from the noise in the market. Okay. Let me know what you think in the comments. Talk to you guys again soon.